Why y'all so mad at me? What have I done to anybody but to get money?
To get money.
I live for her, Queen Jocelyn.
Period.
I got tons of soul, I'm a true collectible. Famous, so famous, #1 desirable. I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. So royal, this is me, I'm so royal.
What is going on? Welcome. Not Deshaun over here fucking with this light bitch. What you doing, girl?
I'm so sorry, girl.
What you over there doing, bitch?
Today, God,
I'm sorry. I'm trying. I put my phone up here on the little thing because I have like these playlists for like all the 2020 genres of the year that I want to go through while we talk.
Okay, that's smart. That's smart.
came prepared. They brought notes.
Deshaun
Okay,
is
it's given.
Any bitch that's ready to talk about music is Deshaun.
No shade.
At 2 o'clock in the morning. So I just really think 3 is.
No shade.
So for Where Your Voice, we do Music Mondays where everybody's supposed to submit a limited, very small number of suggestions.
Girl, and then here go T.
They Sean be like 40 songs.
Like, here go T. Now I got to pick through 60 songs to get 2 songs.
I'm ready, honey.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of In the Middle. Today, we will be talking about the music of 2020. If there's anything that Deshaun and T are good for, it is talking about music from R&B to trap to all things Atlanta.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it is what it is. And all I'm going to do is try to be the referee for the girls who are trying to do something, but they just not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into all of that, everybody's doing good. Everybody had a cute little Thanksgiving weekend or a Turkey Day weekend.
I just enjoyed having a day off. I mean, since the last time we recorded, I've been going nonstop. So I did move. I relocated to Minneapolis, Minnesota, started a PhD program, which is like the last couple weeks of the semester. And I started working with Deshaun over at Where Your Voice.
Yes.
So it's been a lot of just big shit popping over here, but it's also meant nonstop running. So this was the first legit 2 days solid off with nothing that I've had since August. And I just...
We know we've missed you.
I made a big ass pot of chicken and dumplings. When my mama sent me a sweet potato pie. And I put that in the oven, and me and my dog watched some movies and had our own little Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. My Turkey Day holiday thing, whatever you want to call it this week. My cousin flew. She goes to some college in Virginia. I never remember the name of it. I think it starts with a B, like a B. But I don't know why we want to call it Bethune-Cookman or something. I don't know why. But she came and visited. We were supposed to initially drive and go home for the holidays, but as the pandemic started pandemicking, I was like, and flying to Memphis, it can be expensive because it's not that many airlines there. Yeah. So I was like, girl, let's drive. And I was supposed to be gone, but I was like, I'm gonna do a little something. But I told my mom, I said, girl, it's giving. You can't have folks in and out because my mama, she's very friendly. My family's very friendly, and everybody comes over. I said, girl, if you're going to do that, me and my T-cells will be staying in the hotel. Girl, that's just it, girl. That just will not be happening. So it was good to see my mother. She cooked me a lot of stuff. And actually, Deshaun, I'm going to drop you off a plate because she gave me some broccoli and rice casserole. She gave me some dressing, some greens that are really, really good, and some chitlins. I know you want some of those, Deshaun, so I'm gonna make sure that you...
You want to put that in your car and take
it was so good. I love them. I just love the texture. Somebody called them booty noodles, and I said, well, just call me the booty bandit because I'm slurping them things up.
Bitch, you are so sick.
And it's going out of my mouth and my throat. But we're gonna figure out, Deshaun, what did you have? So nasty.
I want to choke. I want you to touch that little angry thing that's swinging.
That's what them chitlins did. But Deshaun, you ain't getting none of them thingly things touching the back of your throat. So what did you do for turkey?
I did not. You are absolutely right. It's horrible, Your Honor. It's just so horrible. But
on the right actually had some chitlins, and y'all tried to
I did have some chitlins. I didn't. So we are in the middle of a pandemic, so I was alone for the holidays.
Oh
no. I didn't have no good food, y'all. I had to order Ruby Tuesdays.
Not Ruby Tuesdays.
It's a Ruby Tuesdays in Atlanta?
You know, Atlanta, like, there's all these soul food joints here, but most of them Black owned, and niggas was at home with their families, so no soul food joint was open for me to order from, so I had to order from the nearest place, which was motherfucking Ruby Tuesdays. So I had some chicken and broccoli pasta at night, and during the day I had a burger and fries, y'all. So that was my little Thanksgiving. It was very sad Thanksgiving. It was actually the worst Thanksgiving I've ever had because my family be throwing down for Thanksgiving. So I was like, "Ooh, I'm ready to." But obviously, the pandemic said, "Girl, no, you're not."
I throw down too.
Girl. I didn't want to cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner for myself. So I was like, "Girl, I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna have a bunch of food for no reason." Right. So that was my little Thanksgiving, child.
Oh, that was cute. That was.
Yeah, that was cute. That was cute.
We take the pandemic seriously.
We do.
This platform, we stand firmly on the stay your ass at home front.
Very much so.
Inside.
As soon as I came home, it was giving. I don't want to see nobody for at least 7 to 10 days. Let COVID get out your system, and I'll see y'all.
Not get out your system, bitch.
Get out y'all system, or do the harmless shake on y'all lungs. But girl, it's not, cause girl, somebody was cutting grass Sunday, and my dad was changing out my brake pedal. I don't know. He liked doing stuff like that. For some reason, we were just checking the back of my trunk, and they had like a gas pedal and a brake pedal. It was like, and it was metal. So they gave me like the race car stuff. My dad had opened it up, and he was just like, just started ticking it. I was like, Kermit, what are you doing?
Not Kermit.
So he didn't even know how to put it on because it wasn't going on properly. So I had to wait. While they was doing that, someone was cutting grass next door. So I started to sneeze. I was like, girl, it's time for me to go.
So I started to sneeze.
I was like, girl, it's time to go. It's giving wrap it up because I do not like all that stuff coming in here. It would have my nerves shook. Like, all right, girl, you just need, when you sneeze now, it'd be like,
the girls think you was just dying. They like, oh, you sneezing? You coughing? Oh, bitch, it's COVIDiana. It's COVIDiana.
A lecture.
Literally coughing from the smoke. And I said, I had my mask on, went straight to stuff. And the people walking around was like, I'm like, you smell smoke.
Sure, I want me to do my body. It's reacting. It's reacting. But, some folks didn't sneeze on the beat, and their beat did not get sicker.
Beyonce was not all in their mouth like liquor.
Some of these albums in 2020 was not giving.
No.
Let's talk about it from the top. Who had the best debut album in 2020?
Debut album?
Yeah, well, not debut album. Y'all know. See, I don't. Who had the best album to come out in 2020?
So, for me, my album of the year is B7 by Brandy.
Come on, Brandy. Yeah.
I think that she had the most sonically brilliant album this year. Like, the production was brilliant. The songwriting, I thought, was brilliant. I do have my critiques of how she moved through mental health on that album. But I think that she is just still showing why she is light years ahead of everyone else, not just R&B, but like all the pop girls and everyone else. Like, I think that she is just light years ahead of people in terms of vocal production, in terms of like the sonic, like the music production of the album. It was just a brilliant album, and I have yet to hear a better album this year.
Yeah, I think it made, like, as you all know, I was a part of her little listening party that she did, and I'm still shook by that. And just listening to it on the way, I was like, okay, this is actually good. I was a little nervous because I was like, I make the faces. So what happens if something play and I'm like, girl, what is this, honey? Like, am I gonna be fake? No, I'm gonna keep it real. But B7 was really good, and I'm so proud of Brandy. I've always been a fan of Brandy. I love Aphrodisiac, and some people don't, but I thought Aphrodisiac was the tea.
It's a beautiful album.
Beautiful. Me and Deshaun be rapping. Who is that? The song? What is it? I can't think of the name of it. The one with T.I. The song that she did with T.I. on Aphrodisiac.
Oh, wait, the one with T.I., the one with Kanye West.
Where You Wanna Be. Is it Where You Wanna Be?
You'll be right here with me with Kanye? Or?
I think it's like Where You Wanna Be.
Talking about the one with Kanye.
You're gonna have to I don't know the words. I be remixing words. So y'all ain't gonna have
Yes. No, I know what song you're talking about when she's like, you don't have to take no.
You don't have to take what you say, my advice. You don't have to.
But that's not what T.I.
It's not?
No, I mean, I think T.I. is
he on the album.
He's on a version of it, but he is on a version of it. And it's called Where You Wanna Be.
I'm dead.
Oh yeah, it is Where You Wanna Be. It is Where You Wanna Be.
Yes.
That's right.
It's a good song. I love that song. I love that album actually in general is just really good. My favorite album of hers is Human, but her best album is Full Moon. But I don't think she has not released a bad album. Like all her albums have been spectacular and always, again, light years ahead of not only her peers, but everyone behind her. I don't know a better woman.
Period.
No, a better woman.
So, T, who had the best album for 2020 for you?
So Brandy was not my favorite. It was actually my second favorite R&B album that I listened to this year, behind Kehlani. Into that a little bit later, but my overall favorite album of the year, first of all, it was a damn good year for trap, and Lil Baby's My Turn was it, top to bottom, not a skip. The visuals were great, the beats were great, the features was great, and that nigga was eating. And I
like him.
Live for Baby. I feel like trap music in the past few years has seen a huge uptick in new, younger, rappers that are hungry. And you got your Babies and your Gunners and your Keed and God and all of them. But Baby came in there and was like, okay, yeah, y'all my peers, but I'm the nigga and it's my turn. So yeah, I for sure listened to that album over and over again. And I mean, it's like a daily meditation for me. And not only was his album good, but Baby has had a year. And when people were online arguing about him, Megan Thee Stallion Artist of the Year over him, I'm like, look, I don't want to be biased, but when I look at what Baby has done from January to now, or if you even look from last November to now, from his features on other people's projects to his own standalone album, I don't see nobody going toe to toe, 10 toes with Baby.
I think that the argument there is that Megan has just objectively had a bigger year than him. She got 2 number ones this year with 2 of the biggest artists in the game, LOL, not Nicki, Beyonce and Cardi. And that was no shade. I didn't. It was no shade. I just didn't mean to say her name.
Constellation, and it ain't even December yet.
I just didn't mean to say her name. That's it, y'all. But she got 2 number ones this year. She has had she's been a lot of drama this year as well, with the shooting from Tory Lanez and all of that. And then the transition from her old label to Rock Nation. I think that she just has had a lot of hype around her name this year. She's had 3 projects come out this year, which is LOL, or 2 projects, which is LOL. But I think that she's had a bigger year, but I wouldn't argue with you about what you just said.
A better catalog of material, and that was just where I was measuring from. I don't want to take shit away from Meg. I love Meg. I don't like her album. Um, I'm also not afraid to say that I don't like any full Megan Thee Stallion project that's not Tina Snow, and I felt that way for a long time. But I can't name a Baby project that I don't love, and I think both of them had phenomenal years, and I think it's just what you rock with, and absolutely like WAP was the song of the century. It was everything that we didn't even know we needed to ask for, and it was just delivered.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. When I look at them toe to toe, aside from having charting hits, because I don't like to always go by like what the official things say. Yes, absolutely, Meg gets it in that category. But when I think about like, let's put the albums beside each other, and all of the rollout of being artists, and what Baby's doing with bringing up other artists, and like I said, having hella features on the year. The argument on Twitter was just like Meg's just light years ahead of Baby in a way that she's not. I would say they're on the same level, and I think it depends on what your cup of tea is. And when I look at them toe to toe, while I love Meg, I be very much over here on my Baby shit.
So since y'all here, girl, y'all bring the conversation up. Who had the worst album of 2020?
I didn't like Tiana Taylor. But
I did not like her album.
I did not.
But I also don't.
Why did you not like Tiana Taylor's album?
Well, I'll let T go first.
It just felt to me gimmicky. And it was also because it came out, I feel like a lot of the music that came out in the midst of the uprising, we're trying to grab at that, let's co-opt the aesthetic of the moment to sell. And that may not have been her intention, but that's how it just reads. Even Beyonce dropping Black Parade read as that, and it's fucking Beyonce, right? Even Grammy came out and did a whole video, and one of his highest charting songs of the year was the song about protesting that he shot at the Atlanta protest. Most artists did it, but like to make that again?
Who was that again that did that?
Lil Baby.
Okay.
He did. Yeah, but to make that the whole aesthetic kind of the album to be like very, I don't know, like high Afrocentric and like talking about my man and my nuclear family and all of this, like I think that's cute. And then sonically, it just didn't stand out for me in the other pack of SoundCloud or post-trap soul singing girls. I'm actually kind of tired of that sound. I think that sound's been overdone. And I think for an artist like Tiana Taylor, who most people say is akin to as like Lady Chris Brown, right? She's that artist that has the range and capacity to do so many other things, and like for her to just stay middle of the pack. Like I think I was expecting, like after Kehlani came out, I thought Tiana was going to give me more of what Kehlani gave me, and then she just kind of gave me, well, this doesn't sound like any different than everything else that's already on. So that it was a disappointment. But I don't know if it was the worst, but it was definitely a huge disappointment.
You would not moved.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think like Tiana came out with that album, Sierra came out with her single that was just awful, and Beyonce.
What? Hold on, what?
Sierra's single was awful. It was awful. It was horrid.
Sierra, her Rooted. Was it Roots? Or
Oh
Rooted?
my God, I forgot about that. I thought
it was horrid. I wish that she really would have kept that right where it was. It didn't deserve to see the light of day. And I'm not even like trying to be shady, but it's like, Sierra girl, what was you thinking? And Sierra has always been a great artist, right? Like I think Sierra has, we love Sierra. She's been an excellent artist. She's been the princess of Atlanta. Like she's been the princess of hip hop and pop and B, all of that. Like she's just been that girl for a long time. But that single was disgusting. And I think that I have qualms with all of these artists, like he just said, who have done that, who have released these albums and these projects, these songs off the backs of organizers and otherwise Black folks taking the streets with Black rage as a way to sell. And it's done horribly. Like I think that there is a way to do that and to do it well, but they have not done that. They've not done it well. And I've talked about this before, like a lot of artists lean on the Nina Simone quote where she says, the of the artist is to reflect the times. And I agree with that quote. However, what I also know is that Nina Simone was in community with actual organizers and actual radical thinkers, where she was sitting down with your James Baldwins and sitting down with your Malcolm X's and sitting down with, you know, the people who actually led these movements and had like a place in this work. Mm-hmm. Whereas the rest of these folks are not actually sitting down and in community with actual organizers and folks who are on the ground. So it comes off as a very clear disconnect, right? Where what they're putting out is so clearly not what the sound of the movement is, right? Like, I think people don't know that, like, at the heart of movements, like there's a sound.
Yes.
There is like a soul that exists in the movement, and there is a sound that exists in the movement, and it changes all the time. It changes through eras, just like everything else, right? Like Nina Simone, when she was putting out Cinnamon and Mississippi Goddamn, all these songs, like there was a sound of that era, where there's a sound now, and none of them are reflecting it well enough because they don't know what the sound is because they're not in community with us. So it just all fell flat for me, and Tiana Taylor definitely was one of them where I was like, girl, this is horrid. It doesn't work, and she's a much more talented artist than what she put out. I didn't like it, but she doesn't get the worst album of the year for me. The worst album of the year for me is going to go to somebody that I know I'm going to get dragged for in the comments, and I just really don't care because I just don't care.
I'm going to say it.
Ariana Grande.
Yes.
Had the worst album for this year to me. And the reason why is because what she refers to as R&B feels like a real slap in the face to me as a Black person who really loves R&B, who listens to R&B more than I listen to anything else. It was really frustrating for me for her to listen to her do this really monotoned, like trap and B sound over some not so great production. And call it R&B, right? Like R&B artists have given too much to the genre for this white pop artist to be able to come in and just slap some sounds over it. She didn't do any real singing on this album. Like this was actually she sang the least on this album of all her albums. And it was like frustrating for me because it's like everyone went up for it. Everyone was like, oh, this is the album of the year. This is that girl. And it's like, Positions is not that girl. She did the least amount of work and got the most credit for it. And it was unfair to me because I think Ariana does have a beautiful voice. To me, she has one of the best voices of her generation. And she didn't showcase it at all on an album that was supposed to be R&B. And it's like, you sang more to the high heavens on Yours Truly and Dangerous Woman than you did on Positions. And you have more soul on Dangerous Woman and Yours Truly than you had on Positions. And it's like, the best songs on your album were the ones that were featuring Black artists. And I don't know why I would listen to a Positions when I can listen to Jaguar by Victoria Monet because they're making the same music. So it just was like, and Victoria sounds better to me because she's actually Black and it's actually authentic. So for me, it was disgusting. I won't say disgusting, but it was a really annoying album to listen to. And I'm not gonna lie that there aren't good songs on the album. There are good songs on the album, but as a whole, it wasn't greatly produced to me. It wasn't greatly mixed to me. There were no real like vocal. There was nothing impressive about her vocals on that album. And lyrically, I also thought it was very ABC. It was very elementary for her. And I know that she had a lot of Black writers on that album, which is also confusing for me because those Black writers like Taylor Parks, Victoria Monet, and like a lot of her other like peers and friends write better than that. So I'm just wondering what was going on in their minds with that. It didn't make sense, and I was not happy with that album. So it definitely got worse of the year for me.
I definitely feel like the Ariana album, what she thought that she was doing what JoJo did.
Right.
Doing.
Yep.
JoJo gave us, and I loved JoJo's project this year. I think it was a really good year for trap and R&B.
It was a great year for R&B.
Great year for both.
Yeah.
And it was one of those years that the heavy hitters kind of took a step back and let the people that we've been waiting for have more space. And I feel like the heavy hitters that did come out, like Ariana Grande, just fell on their faces. It's like, girl, I don't know. I kind of hopped off the Ariana train after Six Rings because I saw that like she got on it and she just like, oh my God, like I did a trap song and like, oh my God, guys, it's really selling. Like, look, the people really like this. And that's just what she's like clung on to. And I have a really big issue with white folks, especially, but then people of privilege making trap and trap sound aesthetic and R&B sound aesthetic into empty aesthetic. Like you can't just, it's not a suit that you zip on and say, I'm going to perform this. This isn't some high school chorus like variety show where we're out here, we're going to give you a little bit of traditional, we're going to give you a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like, no, like those are like, trap and R&B are sacred to me for a lot of the reasons that Deshaun hit on because of their history of resistance, right? Like when you think the civil rights movement, when you see photos from the civil rights movement, you hear Stax Records, like period. It just is what it is. When you hear shit popping off in the 90s or see like 90s nostalgia, like you should hear early Southern hip hop or you should hear New Jack Swing. And we're in a moment where I feel like arts period are so highly oversaturated that people find something that they think is a distinctive sound or a sound that works for people who it's actually authentic to them and they want to ride that wave. And I get it because capitalism says, girl, you need to deliver, which is why I appreciate the alternative across genre. And if I had to have a second favorite project of the year, it'd be fucking Moses Sumney. We got a Moses Sumney project.
Beautiful album.
We got a Moses Sumney project this year. And I just, every time I hear Moses Sumney, something moves deep in my spirit. Like, it's just like, yes, Belle. Yes. I don't know. I love Moses Sumney. And I feel like I've been spending, if I'm not listening to trap, I'm spending a lot of time with the Moses Sumneys of the world.
Yeah, I think Moses Sumney definitely released one of my favorite albums of the year. My second favorite album of the year would be Wild Card by Lettucey.
Yes.
It was a beautiful, beautiful R&B record. Like I lived for it. But I agree. I think that Moses Sumney had a really brilliant album. And this year, I intentionally spent a lot more time listening to pop and alternative records, as well as of course R&B records, and spent a lot less time listening to like a lot of the newer hip hop records, aside from like the Waynes and Megan Thee Stallions and Flo Millis and all of the things. So most of my like favorites from this year are R&B, pop, or alternative across genres. And I thought that there was a lot of really brilliant releases this year, a lot of really underwhelming releases too, but this year had some great music. And I think R&B for me has held it down consistently throughout the year. Like Brandy, Lettucey, Mariah Carey, Toni Braxton, like they actually, like those four names have my favorite albums of the year. Mariah Carey with her Rarities album, Toni Braxton with her Say My Name album, and then Lettucey and Brandy. Like I think that they had beautiful, beautiful, beautiful albums. And then a lot of the pop girls, we had a lot of heavy hitters in pop music this year who released, and I think a lot of them really, they did a great job. Like Dua Lipa, she had a brilliant album. Future Nostalgia, I love that album. I know a lot of the girls don't like her, but she had a great album. Selena Gomez with Rare was a good album. Miley Cyrus, she released my favorite pop album of the year with her latest release. It's like, girl, this soft rock vibe you got going on was beautiful. And I know a lot of girls don't like her either because of her past and other things. I get that. So I'm not here to convince somebody to listen to her album, but it was a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant album. And it's something that her fans, one of which I am, like have been asking for from her for years, and she delivered, and it's no skips, and it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful album. So did, like I'm trying to think of like some other pop girls. You know, of course, we love Chloe and Halle this year, and they did a brilliant job. John Legend released a beautiful album this year. He released one of my favorite albums of the year. A lot of great work came out of this year, and I also have to give it to her. I don't like the title of her album because I don't like white people talking about folklore at all. But Taylor Swift had a good album. It was a great album. So
you really
pop girls they did their thing this year.
Well, because pop girls, everybody that you just named did pop. They got their poppy bag, their alternative bag in their lane. They didn't do the Ariana Grande. They didn't do the Miley Cyrus from the early 2010s. They didn't do none of that shit. And a lot of them, I feel like what the trajectories of a pop artist is, they come out and they do something either that you know has a sound that's going to chart, or they do something like that just transcends and they come out swinging. Yeah. And then as they gain notoriety, it's like, okay, well, we know you can sell to the whole world, but we need you to get down with the niggers. So we're going to put you on a track. We're going to put you on a track with whoever a hot rapper is or whoever a hot singer is, and we're going to throw this like hip hop or trap beat on it with you, and we're going to try to give you an aesthetic just so it sells or you stay hot. And it's awful every time. And then when they get dragged for it, then they have to go out to the woods. They have to find their folklore. They have to go back to your country in Nashville and pick up the country sound that brought them in on the fucking horse.
It's true.
And people are like, wow, this is brilliant. Like, no, they could have just given us 4 of these instead of one of these.
They gave it 4.
We did in the middle, and then like, here we are. Like Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus, who knows where their careers would be if they would have just continued to make the same music that they made this year. The pop girl who fell on her face again this year was Lady Gaga. Even the Ariana Grande feature didn't get that shit up off the ground. I don't know.
America was horrible.
You want to talk about worst album of the year? It's Lady Gaga. Like,
maybe that might actually be the answer. For real.
What was it? Chrome Internet Browser? What was the name of it?
Chromatica. That was a horrible. No, actually, I think Katy Perry had a worse album with Smile.
Damn, she released something too.
Smile was a horrible album. I'm like, all the veterans released trash. Like Katy Perry with Smile and Lady Gaga with Chromatica, horrible albums.
So with this said, there was a big time. We talked about R&B, and these girls going into R&B. Justin Bieber is pissed that his album did not get put in the R&B category. What do you all think about that and the Grammys overall, and who they gave? Who you think? Like I thought, like I agree with you, Deshaun. You had said on Twitter that the Grammys, like normally y'all do some snubs, but this year it was like, girl, y'all just said.
This year it was next level. I was like, I really couldn't. Like, I never expect much from the Grammys because it is the Grammys, but this year was like the worst I've seen in a long time. I thought that like a lot of the ones that were nominated didn't make sense for what they were nominated for. And then a lot of people just weren't nominated at all. Like this year was a brilliant year for R&B. So the fact that, bless you. So the fact that
I have it up, I can read.
Jay Nova and Kehlani and like all these other folks were not actually nominated for R&B album of the year, like just did not make sense at all. The Weeknd too, like he had a great album this year. So it was like, I don't understand why, like it was some of the biggest snubs of the year for me, but then they put Beyonce in like almost every category. And I love Beyonce, and I think she deserves to win the Grammys that she deserves. But Black Parade was not an R&B album or an R&B track. It wasn't. And so I don't know why it was nominated under anything R&B. It wasn't a pop record, so I don't know why it was nominated under anything pop. It was like, it just, none of it made sense. So I was like, this is probably going to be the worst year for Grammys, but I will say Justin Bieber didn't deserve to be under R&B, so he was where he deserved to be at, under pop. And the album also wasn't great, so you are lucky you were nominated. So
girl, when they played it, I really did think that I was downloading polyphonic ringtones from back in 2006 on my whatever Nokia flip. Like it was
not a good album.
But you know what? Now, like, go back. I didn't listen. Like, it takes me a while to listen to music that has come out. Like, I started listening to some shit that came out 2 years ago. On my way to Memphis, my cousin was playing Kalani's album, and I didn't even know it was Kalani until one song played, and I was like, "This shit sounds good." Like, I was impressed. I was like, not even knowing it was her. I said, "Okay, Kalani." Like, once the song that I know her for played, I said, and I asked her, I said, "Is this Kalani?" I said, "Okay, girl. All right. This is cute." That's music for me. Like, I would discover something 2 years. I don't like. I think I pay attention to pop culture and shit too much, and everybody's influence. That I don't want you saying it's good that I should listen to. So if it comes up like that, I'm like, oh shit. Like, no lie. I started listening to The Baby because a Trey was in my car and he played it, and I just said, okay. I typed in artist Lil Baby and I just shuffled all of his songs, and I was just like, hit. And you know, it sounded real good in my little train car, so I was just like, yes, it's giving energy. This was the first year I actually just watched the Grammys do their nominations like live. Mm-hmm. That shit was a mess. That shit was. I think I'm most disappointed that Brandy didn't get nominated for not one.
I was disgusted by that. I was so upset by that.
But it's also like, you know, usually they'd be like, well, who we in the Black community consider to be legends doesn't always translate outside of our community. But when it comes to the artists that Deshaun named on that list, Ledisi, Brandy, Mariah Carey, like Toni Braxton, like those are artists with what 30 years worth of culture. Like when Mariah Carey steps in any room, everybody falls out. Like you don't get those caliber artists except for like once in a lifetime. And for them to be this late in their career, giving us quality music and still being snubbed for it, it's ridiculous. I'm like, Beyonce didn't deserve to be in these categories in the same way that those artists did. And then the other part about the Grammys that's been interesting to me are these like subcategories.
Yes.
That should just be a category. So like, for instance, best progressive R&B album. Best progressive R&B album. Okay.
Right.
Well, that means.
That sounds like a new political party.
They're the leftists. Like, they're further left. No. No, but they have Chilambo by Janae Eiko, which loved. Great album. Ungodly Hour by Chloe and Haley. Loved it.
Right.
The Free Nationals. That was an amazing project. The Free Nationals project was really good. Fuck Your Feelings by Robert Glasper. And then It Is What It Is by Thundercat, which was also an amazing project. And I'm like, so we have to create a whole new category just to get the artists that we're actually listening to, that are actually doing things that push the genre forward.
Right.
Because the actual R&B category is Ant Clemens. Now I do love, is it Giveon or Giveon? Giveon.
Love him.
That album, yes.
That album was one of my favorite from this year. It's so
good.
It's
so good. It gives me this year.
Name a song from him?
Last year.
Huh?
Name a song from him that y'all like.
You might not know Giveon.
You gotta
I've heard the name. But I'm just trying to make sure I didn't see. I think
he did his album like This Ain't Love, World We Built.
Okay, I'm looking him up now.
Beaches.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen his face before.
He's so talented. So
a big nose.
Yeah.
And he is beautiful. I love him. But yes, he had one of the best albums this year too.
Okay.
I'm glad he was nominated. I'm glad Ledisi was nominated. But like you said, like Mariah, she released the album this year and it was amazing. Toni Braxton released one of the best R&B albums of the year this year and didn't get nominated. Same with Brandy, same with Kehlani. It just didn't make sense. And when you name the best progressive R&B album nominations or nominees, that sounds like they're just throwing in alternative R&B albums, which is fine because we love alternative R&B. But if you're gonna do that, just make that a category instead of calling it progressive R&B or whatever the fuck that means. And also Chloe and Halle are not alternative R&B artists.
or they're center pop and they're center
Right.
R&B.
Right.
Period. There's not. I know we had a lot of great albums, but when you talk about artists doing the full package, there's not many people across any genre that did what Chloe and Halle did this year, especially given the fucking pandemic.
Yep.
I mean, you saw them on multiple performances. They made their home in
the whole
the
year
studio, shooting, magazine covers on the tennis court. Like, they worked this year, and they should have eaten
Today's show. They was on it.
Okay, BET.
YouTube's class of 2020. That's how we do it. Like,
okay, they worked all
they
year.
did. They worked, and I really did not like them when they first came out. The first whatever
the kids are all right. I love that.
Whatever the first album came, the Christian, whatever. I don't know what the hell it was. It was
not Christian. That was a great album, bitch.
It wasn't for me.
R&B album.
Song, like, it was just not doing it for me. But I'm so proud of them. Love those things. As we talk about all these things, I know I have to get a little bit deep into the things. There's been a lot of talk about Megan Thee Stallion's album that just recently came out, and it's been some mixed reactions. I think some people are scared to say that they didn't like it. For me, before I listened to it on the way to Memphis, I did a video and I was talking about it. I was like, okay, it wasn't great, but I was like, I can tell that she's trying to do something, maybe. I don't know.
I'm
but
not
listening to it on the way to Memphis, I was very confused. I didn't know the direction. I just don't know. I don't know if the beats were good. The production just wasn't. It just wasn't. And I really did want to, because I want Meg to win, because I think she's had a kind of a traumatic year, where she's had a traumatic year. So I just want to give her something. But this sounded like some shit that we actually found her hard drive and she threw it away and somebody pieced it together and just started playing songs from it. Like, it's a lost hard drive, but it's not a good one. It's like, that should have been shredded. It just wasn't moving. So what do y'all think? Deshaun has given us a couple emojis on Twitter to let us know how they felt about the album.
I mean, I put out there, I was like, y'all, I'm trying to get through this album and listen to it, but I literally only like the opening track that lays out the shits and the song featuring Carisha. I think in a year that was amazing for female rap, for Meg to be arguably the biggest girl in female rap right now, and for her album to drop after everybody's and for it to fall on its face, I do think that adds value, or adds to the punch, right? Because Megan Thee Stallion came out after we got Flo Milli shit, which was the best.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, Flo Milli's album was amazing. Speaking of period, you had the City Girls this year. Miss Doja Cat 8 this year. And
Doja album came out in 2019, though, didn't
was it 2019 or was it early this year?
It was 2019.
Oh,
yes, but I've been listening to it like the shit came out this summer.
Yeah, and so the City Girls, Doja Cat, Flo Milli, and Mulatto. Mulatto's album was really, really good.
Big Lotto, dumbass. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. But you get all of that, and then Meg comes out. And I'm just like, it hit me in a lot of ways that Nicki Minaj has hit me in the past. And I don't want to put her, not saying her among other female R&B artists, but her among, or not R&B, female rap artists. I'm saying her among her pop peers. Like, you get really good pop R&B albums, and then Nicki comes out, and I want the whole album to be really good, and then it just is not. And so I'm wondering if it's a problem with her team or who's behind her. I know she's had some issues with contracts, and I know, given the other girls that we've just named, they have full machines behind them, right? Mm-hmm. They're pushing them, they're doing things, but they're not doing anything for the culture, to me, differently than Meg is doing, that Meg's not at the forefront of doing. And it just really does a disservice to Megan Thee Stallion as an artist and as a brand for her to continue to make incomplete projects, because this is not just me dragging this one. I don't like any Meg full project that's not Tina Snow. And it just is what it is.
Yeah. So hopefully she doesn't turn into Meg Griffin after this album.
I mean, I I want to continue to root for Meg because I think that she deserves it. I think that she is talented. And I think that she's one of the best rappers of her peers. That said, this album was not good. It has 17 songs and about 4 of them were actually worth listening to.
Yep.
Her last EP, Sugar, was not good. And much of this album felt like it was just rejects from Sugar. And Fever also was not a great project. It was a good project. It had a lot of good songs, a lot of good singles, but it was not a great project. Her last great project, her only great project is Tina Snow. Her music has declined since outside of her features. And so in that way, I agree with T. I think that I agree with T in comparing her to Nicki Minaj because Nicki Minaj also does not have great albums. She has great features. She's always delivered wholly on her features for 10 plus years, but her albums have always
hopping on remixes.
Well, now this year is a different story because this year her features have, but previously, and some of her features this year have been good, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, like she has always been like a features girl and her albums have fallen short. It's just the truth. The Barbs will hate me for it and they'll disagree with me about it. I don't really give a fuck. It's the truth. Her albums are not great, but her features are essential. They're brilliant features. And Megan, I think, is the same, except I wouldn't compare her in that way because she's also kind of fallen short on a lot of her features. Nicki Minaj gave a lot of diversity on her features. She's given like a lot of different sounds and flow changes and different deliveries and all the things on her features. And Megan, to me, is like a one-trick pony. Yeah. She attacks every single beat from start to finish and doesn't allow herself to like sit behind the beat, to really sit on the beat, to really like deliver differently. Like she attacks it and that's what she sounds like on every single song, which is why my favorite features from her are Pole Dancer, She Live, and Fucking Around, because she offered such a different sound for all of those where I didn't feel like she was beating me up in the face when she was rapping, but that's how she sounds for every other song. And I want her to relax. I mean, sometimes it sounds good, but most times it doesn't. I need her to slow down. So that's what I felt about this album. The production wasn't excellent. I thought that the sample choices, while I liked the original songs, the sample choices for her songs just weren't great, except for like Circles, which I loved. And yeah. So I think that like the production wasn't great. I thought that the delivery wasn't great. She throws in these random triplets into a song that sounds like she's putting so many words into one bar, so it doesn't fit. And it's like, this sounds not clean. It's not clear. It wasn't a good album. Especially for this to be her debut album. And I'm putting that in quotes because, girl, you've had 4 projects before this one. But anyway, that being her debut album, and her being the most celebrated woman rapper of her peers, I just anticipated something. Well, actually, I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I knew that she would bring this energy because she's only brought this energy, but I was hoping for something different, and it didn't come. And I agree with T. I think that she had the worst album of her peers for this year. I think the City Girls, Flo Milli, and Big Lotto all released better projects this year than she did.
So I'm gonna go through the album and give us a thumbs up if you like it. If you are okay with it. This if you like, I ain't fucking with it at all.
I'm gonna just start by saying I really only like Circles, the intro, and the song with the City Girls.
I actually didn't like the intro that much.
I hated the intro. The intro was horrible to me.
Yeah, the intro was like, I felt like the intro was cute, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I love what Cardi did with her intro to. That's what I wanted. Like, wow. If you talk about like, bitch, I'm here. I expect you to.
Nobody wants to give my girl her things, but IOP eats it up.
Yes, it does. And Trayvon actually reminds me that it's the same as Meek Mill's intro to his song, to his album. And I'm just like, I expected some of that because that's cute. Just like, and Cash Doll did the same thing.
Cash Doll did the same thing. I'm about to say the same thing.
I like that type of shit. So it was like, it was very goofy, like like she was on Instagram Live or something. Yeah. So shots fired. We're gonna give it. I'll give her.
Yeah, okay. I'm the only one that likes it.
Circles was really cute.
I like Circles.
Circles was cute.
Thumbs up or
Crybaby,
thumbs
I
down?
like Crybaby.
I got my phone in my.
Crybaby.
Really?
I don't like the baby.
The baby verse was horrible. It ruined the whole song for me.
Yeah, it did. You know who else ruined the song for her? Young Thug to me on that Don't Stop.
I agree.
I did not like Young Thug shit. I was like, was he taking this shit serious when he?
I was surprised.
Meg should have collaborated. They just shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
He brings different things to tracks than Meg does, and it was just a clash of the aesthetic and of the sound. And when she dropped that as like the first thing out after the Tory Lanez debacle part 2 happened, and it was supposed to be some sort of redemption track to get us back on her music, it just fell flat.
Yeah.
Okay, do it on the tip.
I like it.
Sugar Baby. I don't know how Sugar Baby is sound. Movie.
I like
I'll
Freaky
give it.
Girls.
I like Freaky Girls.
Body.
I like the verses. The chorus is growing on me, but I'll give it a middle.
T, you didn't give it nothing. What's new?
I'm tired of it already.
Work that. In the chorus. Yeah, I'll give it.
I like the chorus.
Go Crazy. Big Sean ate her up.
For the features, Big Sean and 2 Chainz do what they had to do.
Yes, Big Sean ate
I
her
didn't
up.
pass y'all.
I mean, it doesn't even have a star on it. That song should have a star on it.
I didn't like. I know this is unpopular, but I did not like Big Sean and 2 Chainz on that song.
Really?
Because I didn't like the song. I didn't like the
Okay.
song. So like, I thought that what they brought to it was great, but the song was just so underwhelming for me that it was like, even y'all can't save this.
Don't rock me to sleep.
Bitch, I don't know why the fuck she put that bullshit on that motherfucking album.
Now, y'all know I love when the
It was
girls.
so random.
I love when the girls do music. Like,
Rock me to sleep. Bitch,
it
what is going on?
reminded me of like some shit Nicki has done with like the singing shit, but I was like, Meg, this doesn't fit you at all. Like, I just don't see Megan as no singing girl. Like, it was just very weird. I was like, is this the goofy nerd Megan that, we've not seen?
No, that was a move by her label for both TikTok and for the pop girls. They're gonna play that in the H&M, in the Aeropostale, in the American Eagle. They're gonna play that all throughout the
around
mall.
the Christmas holiday. Yeah, they do that.
Right.
They be playing
Like,
Marshall.
it was a smart move, but it also wasn't because she could have given a pop record easily without doing that. That was just so bubblegum pop. And I was like, girl, this would have been like a feature for BB Rexha or something. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside. I don't even know what outside sounds like.
No.
I don't remember it either, so I can't even.
I remember it, and it wasn't good.
After
Savage
that-
remix, of course.
Of course, love Savage Remix.
Girls in the Hood
I like Girls in the Hood.
and Don't Stop. A tragedy. Like,
The album only, to me, I didn't even count the last 3 because Savage, Girls in the Hood, and Don't Stop were just thrown in there because they were already singles and they would boost her sales. So I only counted 1 through 14, and I only downloaded 4 songs.
well, Megan. So what are we telling Megan? What does Megan need to do? What does her team need to do?
If I had to give some genuine advice to Megan,
Come on, dear Megan.
dear Meg, and I really do hope that, I mean, I know stands are stands, so everybody gonna be mad or whatever, and it's fine. I don't give a fuck. But I hope that if Megan does see this, she actually knows that like we're genuine because we actually really do like her.
Yeah.
I want Megan to relax on the beat. I think that you've proven to us already, Megan, that you can rap your ass off. You've proven to us that you're a freestyle girl. You've proven to us that you are a legitimate rapper who deserves your spot. So now it's really time to really like take a step back and give us something. Like, when I think of the reason why I love Big Ol' Freak and a lot of other songs from Tina Snow is because I didn't feel like she was proving anything. She was a girl who loved to rap, who was hopping on these dope ass productions and was just giving us her true authentic self. She didn't have to prove shit. She was just giving us what the fuck she wanted. And I hope you return to that. I hope you know, like really sit with what it is you want, not what's going to top the charts, not what's going to be most loved by your fans, whatever, but like what you really like, and not what your label is wanting to push, but like what you really like, what you really want, and what sound you're wanting to curate. Because right now it feels like the sound that's being pushed, it doesn't feel authentic, and it also feels like it's changing with the tide, and the tide is going to always shift. And if you don't have if you're not rooted in what it is that you love and what it is you like, you're gonna give horrible music. So that's my advice to her would be to slow down on the tracks, like listen, like her breath control usually is great, but like she's adding too many words into a bar, and it's like, I know it's Houston rap, but like also, girl, the music is not chopped and screwed. So we have to actually hear it for what it is. So let's like relax on the beat, calm down a bit, really sit back on the beat and let yourself feel the music that's happening instead of attacking it. I think that's my biggest thing. And also tell a story.
Yes.
I don't think Megan tells stories. I don't think Megan has committed herself. And not every rapper is a storyteller. Let's just be clear. But Megan is not a trap artist. Megan is not, you know, like an artist who, Megan has positioned herself as someone who is committed to the art of hip hop. And hip hop is about storytelling. It always has been. And so I want her to tell stories. So tell stories, Megan. I think that she tried to do that with the intro to her album. It didn't really work because the production wasn't great. And again, how she attacked the beat wasn't great. So I think, you know, picking the right production, deciding the best delivery for the track, and giving us lyrics that are really committed to telling a story, I think is really going to be what takes her to the top. I mean, she's already at the top, but what really pushes her over the edge for me.
Okay. T, what do you think? You may have this look on your face. I'm very curious.
No, I 100% agree with everything Deshaun said. And I wouldn't add too much to it except for the part where Deshaun was really talking about wanting Meg to find a sound. Yes. That's where I'm at with it. Like, we know Meg checks all the boxes, right? As far as talent, as far as look, ability to execute. But what I would like to see her do is what a lot of artists are doing right now, linking up with their producer. Like, Future is great, but when you got Future and Esco together, you get 56 nights. Like, that's just what happens, period. Like, you know, 21 Savage, like another one of my favorite projects of the year, Savage Mode 2. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want her to find her nigga. Summer Walker shit is good. She got London on the track, and like London and Summer make magic together, right? I would love to see Meg now. I would love to see Meg get her person and it doesn't have to be somebody that's already established, but I want her to find somebody that crafts a sound for her that they do together and maybe put out a project like that, because her music needs to do some journey work. Similar to what we were saying about the pop girls, like they come out swinging and then they try to do whatever's hot at the time and then it loses us. And then Taylor Swift goes back and does a folklore, or Miley Cyrus goes back and does what she just did with this album that came out last week. And it's like, that's your bag. Meg don't have a bag yet. Yeah. And I find myself asking, what happens to a Megan Thee Stallion in the absence of a social media? What happens to Megan Thee Stallion when there's no more TikTok, when there's no more IG Reels? Like, if we woke up tomorrow morning and like there was a pandemic for social media and all we had was our sound like we used to back in the day, it's a lot of people who wouldn't make it, and Megan Thee Stallion is one of them. And it's because she hasn't done, and it's not just her, but it's whoever's around her. They have not done the work of developing her into an artist. Megan Thee Stallion is 95% full commodity, She is a model for whatever outfits they want to put her in, what kind of looks they want to put her in. She has the range and talent to deliver hits, but not a full project. And she's an amazing features girl. And like I said, I don't want to see her fate be one of Nicki Minaj's, where we look back after a year of music and say Megan had WAP, so we let her have WAP, and we just be like, well, we knew what we were expecting from the album. I don't want to see any more years like this from Meg when she has the capacity to be one of the biggest artists hip hop has ever seen, period. And I don't
Yeah, I think she doesn't have control over her like stuff like that. She doesn't have a say so as much, like she doesn't have an input, or because I've always thought Meg was one of those folks that's really sitting down with her producers and sitting down and just working. But I wonder,
I think she
doing
does
it and she shouldn't be doing it, or she ain't doing it and she like, which one is it?
I think that she does, but we also know that she's been like moving through contracts, right? So like a lot of this has to do with what the label wants, what the label is allowing, and what her contract allows. So I also recognize that too. But she is in the studio with her producers, and so therefore she does have some type of creative control. And I want to go back to what T said just a few minutes ago about her finding her producer. Because I think maybe she thinks that Juicy J is that, and I don't think that he is. But I think that there is something really. No
Come on,
shame.
Memphis.
I think that there is, and I love Juicy J, but I don't think that's it. But
it just ain't doing it.
But I love that point, because when I think about not just rap but across genres, like Brandy and Dark Child make magic.
Mm-hmm.
Toni Braxton and Babyface, magic. Kenny and Rico Nasty, magic, right? So like, I love that point, because that's actually one of the most brilliant things you can ever really offer somebody, I think. Warren Campbell and Erica Campbell, magic. Like when you actually know you're like a producer and they know your sound, they know what you can do, they know how to push you and challenge you, and they also know like what they can curate to best like produce and harness your sound, you make magic. And so I just wanted to uplift that point that T just brought up, because it immediately made me think about those artists and those producers and what they've done for these careers. I like Toni Braxton, Brandy, and Rico Nasty, I don't think would have the careers that they have if not in part, right, for Babyface and Dark Child and Kenny. I think that they work so well together. They create the best of music because they know each other so well. They have a chemistry outside of just, we both make music. And I think that it's about creating a chemistry like that and finding a person who makes you want to make music and makes you want to create the best sound because you love working together with each other. I think that that's going to do wonders for them. The same thing with Beyonce and The Dream, right? Yeah. Beyonce and Frank Ocean, right? I think like they create amazing music when they link up because they know each other and they've worked together in a way that like really allows them to do that.
And it may be a producer out there who's looking for their Meg. Like I think about Calvin Harris, for example. Calvin Harris is like one of the biggest DJ people on the planet. But when him and Rihanna link up,
it's a celebration.
It's like,
everybody links up
better than everybody else, and he does EDM better than everybody else, and they get together. Meg needs to find her person, and like I said, they may be a big person like a David Guetta or something, or Calvin Harris, or they may be, a trap hip hop producer that's already out there like a Esco or London. But it may also just be like we've seen from the trap upstarts in the last few years, like
somebody from Houston.
Yeah, somebody from home that they grew up with, that they was in high school with, that they was making beats for, in their dorm room making beats for, and them niggas is hot. I think Meg needs to do that. I don't know if we need to do what's like the Kirk Franklin like gospel song show where he try to find the next artist. Maybe we need to find Meg a producer, like an American Idol style, and just go from there.
Yeah.
Well, I am in total agreement. I hope that everybody else is. This year in music, I think this is the year that I actually paid attention to music the most. And I have to agree with the thing with Megan. As much as I love her, I feel like that y'all are being completely honest. There's no hate, there's no bias. It's just like, hey, girl, we want to see you win. And I think, especially with all this social media stuff, like you got to fix this quick because trends don't last long.
They don't.
So, girl, like 2-3 years from now, it might be it. And we've seen other folks barely hold on with features and stuff, and not good projects. So, girl, Megan, pay attention, girl. It's not hate, girl. Like, listen to these folks. That's all I got. Did y'all want to add anything else on the music of 2020, or anything?
I just want to say that this was this was actually a good year for music. It wasn't a great year for mainstream music, I don't think, but it was a great year for underground music, and lesser known music. Like I discovered so many underground R&B artists this year, and like artists who have been around for years but haven't been like in the mainstream. I've discovered like a lot of great rap artists and pop artists this year that also weren't like in the mainstream. So like it doesn't mirror 2016 to me because 2016 was a great year for mainstream music. It was a brilliant year for mainstream music, but this year mirrors 2016 in that like there was so many great projects from this year that I hope people get to really get into, from artists that you may not have ever heard of, but they gave us some brilliant content. And I think that I'm walking away from 2020 with a lot of love for the TLC that was given to a lot of these projects this year. So I have a whole like 3 different playlists, one for alternative music, one for pop music, and one for R&B, that I am constantly sharing. And I would love like for people to get into these artists because they released some great music this year.
Absolutely. We'll put the link in the bio. T, do you have a playlist too?
I have a bunch of playlists, and I need to start sharing them. But it's usually just me. I take a lot of long walks, and I ride a bike everywhere. So like I'm constantly curating a playlist, and I also write. So like when I'm sitting in my house, I gotta have some good stuff in the background. And I think this year I got I've listened to a lot of jazz. I've listened to a lot of Afro diasporic music. Like I've really been on Afro beats and like Caribbean music, and even listening to music from Europe. Like I've gotten into trap scenes from both London and Paris heavily. I've gotten into even Quebec, Canada has a really dope like up and coming French speaking trap scene. And I've been listening to just music from all corners of the world because my ears did get kind of tired of the same old thing. And I listen to, like I was saying before, a lot of alternative music across genre, everything from like Rari, people who are making like folk music. And I got to revisit a lot of folks, especially like Atlanta artists. So like I really enjoyed Spillage Village, their collective project that came out this year with Earth Gang and Jid, Mariba. I like stuff like that. So I feel optimistic about music. And if I had to put it akin to another year prior, I would say it's giving me like summer 2014 and summer 2015 vibes when we got like the internet broke out and like SZA's Z Project was out. That was when I think it was like Anderson .Paak was like coming out. I think Bryson Tiller happened in 2015. So that moment where like technology shifts, so the sound shifted, like the pandemic shifted everything. And it gave a lot of people the opportunity to not just listen to what was mainstream because we were not constantly on the go. I just need a good 4 songs to get me from here to work or from work to home. It was like, I'm just in the house. Right. And Netflix is on my nerves. I don't want to see anything. So what am I going to listen to? So, I definitely think the pandemic had a lot to do with how music was received this year. And I'm really excited to see where people go based on this moment. The folks who fell on their faces, maybe they can fix it. And the people who have the potential to really take off, I hope that they get whatever they need in our post-COVID world to make this possible.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, girl, check out the playlist and tell us what y'all thought about the music of 2020. And we will talk to y'all later on. Bye.